The chair of the Democratic National Committee has resigned on the eve of the party's national convention after leaked emails reveal party officials were actively favouring Hillary Clinton during the presidential primary and working to undermine Bernie Sanders. In a moment we talk to a party strategist, but first a quick background from Diane Hodges of Reuters.
The announcement came just one day before the opening of the Democratic National Convention, throwing the party into disarray as it prepares to nominate Hillary Clinton in the race for the White House. Officials were hoping to bring party members together, but those hopes are now being tested after more than 19,000 emails from Debbie Wasserman Schultz and other top party officials were leaked. The emails appeared to buttress charges from rival Democrat Bernie Sanders that party officials favored Clinton during the primaries. Sanders demanded Wasserman Schultz step down. Following news of the resignation, Clinton released a statement thanking the DNC head for her leadership over the past 5 years. President Barack Obama also paid tribute to Wasserman Schultz, saying she played a critical role in passing legislation on the economy and health care.
The report from Reuters, some Sanders supporters are going to join us in a few minutes, but Marianne Marsh is a Democratic strategist. She's just arrived in Philadelphia for the party's convention, and I asked her how the party can possibly claim unity and cohesion and solidarity off the back of this email leak.
Remember, it was only yesterday, that Hillary Clinton unveiled Tim Kaine, who's going to be her vice presidential candidate, and by all accounts hit it out of the park in Miami. A great partnership, a wonderful speech, off to a terrific start, and yet that no one's talking about it today because of these emails. So I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to leave. She had to go, rip the Band-Aid off, and she's been replaced by Donna Brazile, who I'm a huge fan of, will do a tremendous job, has worked a number of presidential campaigns over the years, a longtime Democratic National Committee member, well known to many audiences here nationally and around the world for her analysis with CNN, and I think she's going to do a great job, so it was a good pick.
Okay, doesn't this, though, get to the heart of the criticism of Hillary Clinton and her campaign, and that is that there is a debased kind of pragmatism, cynicism about the way she works, about the concessions she's prepared to make, about the compromises she's prepared to make. Isn't this her Achilles heel being spotlit?
I think there are 2 points here. First of all, everyone should remember that when the DNC was hacked back in April, the independent analysis that was done identified that the hackers were from Russia. And that's something that everyone should remember. There were Russian hackers. That was identified in April. It's not a coincidence that they're being leaked now on the eve of the Democratic Convention, and there's a lot of relationships there between Donald Trump, his campaign manager, Paul Manafort, the Russians, and WikiLeaks. So that's something to keep in mind. Number two, I also think you're going to see Hillary Clinton put on a very positive convention. It's going to be a stark contrast from much of what you heard at the Republican Party, and especially Donald Trump's speech, which was midnight in America, that sounded more like the bonfire of the vanities, very negative, very dark, very dystopian. And instead, I think you're going to see the Democrats and Hillary Clinton be very positive about their agenda and all the things they're going to do. And I think by picking Tim Kaine, she's sending a message that says, look, it's great to be a progressive, but you have to know how to get things done. Being a progressive and not getting anything done doesn't matter. And that's why she picked Tim Kaine, because they want to get things done. And sometimes that means compromising.
But if you're out there and you're alienated from politics, if you're disconnected, if you're living your life on the minimum wage or a little bit above it, if you're struggling to get by, if you're really making no progress at all, and Trump speaks to your sense of alienation, if he is the anti-establishment candidate, don't these emails just remind us how much establishment Hillary Clinton is?
I think it will with some of the Bernie Sanders supporters who were leaning towards Trump anyways. And I think what you will see between now and November, and that in many respects you've outlined the challenge for both of them. This is a campaign, an election that's going to be waged on getting people to vote. And I think Trump has really tapped into a lot of the anger and anxiety and fear out there, and that's what he's really pushing. And in many respects, sort of putting a match to gasoline on it. Hillary Clinton's trying to take a different approach and a more positive approach. These emails certainly don't help her, and that's why I think Debbie Wasserman Schultz had to go today. But I think what's being lost here is that it was Russian hackers who got into the Democratic National Convention seem to be working with the Trump campaign and trying to influence a U.S. election, and that is unheard of.
Marianne, you give a damn passionately about this, don't you? Why do you care so much? In other words, what does Hillary Clinton say to you? What does she offer you? Why are you such a supporter of hers?
I'm a Democrat, and she's a Democratic nominee, and there was a really hard-fought primary, and she came out the winner head and shoulders above Bernie Sanders. Remember, when Hillary Clinton ran against Barack Obama, she came much closer to beating Obama than Sanders did, yet she, got out of the race, endorsed him, worked very hard, and then went to work for him in the administration. And I think what you will see about Hillary Clinton is when she's been in the jobs on her own, when she was a United States Senator and Secretary of State, when she makes a promise and she says she's going to do something, she gets the job done. And I think that's the big difference here. And I think that's the contrast she's going to draw with Donald Trump, who doesn't have a record of keeping his word, especially on many of his business deals. Make no mistake about it. This is going to be a very close, hard-fought, ugly race.
Ugly race. Marianne Marsh, who was a party strategist just going into that convention in Philadelphia, obviously will be there all week.